You're hiking. The trail's beautiful. The sun's filtering through the trees in that perfect way that makes you feel like you're in a nature documentary. You're maybe half a mile from the parking lot. You can still hear cars in the distance. And then you notice something. Fresh tracks. Big tracks. Claw marks on a tree trunk that are way higher than your head. And suddenly that peaceful forest feeling evaporates and gets replaced by this primal understanding that you are not alone out here. You are not at the top of the food chain. And you are by yourself. Here's what makes your stomach drop: if you brought a friend on this hike, if there were even just two of you walking this trail, the thing that made those tracks would almost certainly avoid you completely. It wouldn't want the confrontation. It would hear you coming and disappear into the woods before you even knew it was there. But you're alone. And that changes everything. Across the entire animal kingdom, predators follow the same pattern. Mountain lions in North America. Tigers in India. Wolves in the Arctic. Crocodiles in Australia. They hunt the isolated. They target the separated. They wait for the one that wandered away. But the moment there's a group, even just two humans, the calculation flips completely. Suddenly these same apex predators that could absolutely take you down want nothing to do with you. Why? What is it about one human versus two that completely changes a predator's decision? What happens in their brain when they see a group that makes them turn around and leave? The answer goes deeper than safety in numbers. It's about evolutionary hardwiring that goes back millions of years. About risk calculation that happens faster than thought. And about the fact that humans accidentally trained every major predator on Earth to leave groups alone. Let's break it down. First thing you need to understand, predators are not brave. They're not tough. They're not looking for a fight. They're calculators. Every single hunting decision comes down to one question: is the energy and risk I'll spend on this kill worth the calories I'll gain from it? Because here's the thing that movies get completely wrong. Predators are fragile. An injured predator is a dead predator. A lion with a torn muscle can't chase prey. It starves. A wolf with a broken leg falls behind the pack. It dies alone. A crocodile with a damaged jaw can't close its mouth properly. It can't feed. In the wild, there's no healing. There's no recovery time. There's no waiting it out. You either hunt successfully, or you die slowly and painfully. Researchers studying lion behavior in Tanzania found that injured lions rarely survive more than a few weeks. The injury doesn't have to be major. A pulled tendon. A cracked rib. A deep scratch that gets infected. Any of it can be a death sentence. So predators are conservative. Deeply, carefully conservative. They're not thinking, I'm gonna go fight something today. They're thinking, what's the easiest meal I can get with the lowest chance of getting hurt? A lone human fits that calculation perfectly. One target. Potentially slow compared to normal prey. Possibly distracted or unaware. No backup. If the predator approaches from behind, strikes fast, and gets it right, the risk is manageable. But a group? That's a different equation entirely. Two humans means two sets of eyes. One might be looking in the predator's direction while it's trying to approach. Two humans means if something goes wrong, there's backup. There's noise. Chaos. Multiple threats to track. The predator can't focus on taking down prey while also monitoring what the second human is doing. And if that second human has a rock or a stick or any kind of improvised weapon, the risk multiplies. 3 or more humans. Forget it. Now there's coordinated defense. Multiple objects being thrown. Multiple sources of loud noise. The real possibility that these humans have actual weapons. And here's the critical part, the predator's brain runs this entire calculation in less than a second. It sees a group, processes the threat level, and reaches the same conclusion almost every time. Not worth it. Find something else. But it's deeper than just numbers. Predators don't see a group of humans as multiple prey items. They see something that triggers a completely different instinct. Herd recognition. Every predator that hunts in the wild has evolved to understand herd behavior because their natural prey travels in herds. Zebra, wildebeest, elk, caribou, buffalo. These animals survive by clustering together. And predators have spent millions of years learning how to hunt them. But hunting a herd doesn't mean attacking the herd. It means separating one animal from the herd. Biologists studying wolves in Yellowstone documented this exact behavior. When wolves encounter a herd of elk, they don't charge in. They test it. They run at the herd, watch how it reacts, look for weaknesses. They're searching for the individual that's slower, older, injured, or just behaviorally separated from the group. Once they identify that animal, the whole pack shifts focus. They work to isolate it, cut it off from the herd's protection, and take it down away from the others. The same pattern shows up everywhere. Lions hunting wildebeest. Orcas hunting seals. Even sharks approaching schools of fish. The predator instinct isn't attack the group. It's find the one that's separated from the group. When a predator sees a lone human, that human fits the pattern perfectly. You're the separated herd member. You're the target evolution programmed them to look for. But when the predator sees multiple humans together, you're not triggering the isolated prey response anymore. You're triggering the intact herd response. And intact herds are dangerous. A study in behavioral ecology found that prey animals in groups are exponentially harder to kill. Not just because there are more of them, but because the predator's success rate drops when it can't focus on a single target. The predator's vision, its attack pattern, its bite trajectory, all of it is optimized for one target. Multiple targets create confusion. So when a mountain lion sees two hikers instead of one, it's not thinking, twice the food. It's thinking, this is a herd, I need to separate them, and they're too close together to separate safely. And it leaves. There's another critical factor, awareness. Predators are ambush hunters. Almost every land predator relies on surprise. They need to get close without being detected, and they need that first strike to be decisive. The moment you see the predator, the entire advantage collapses. A study from the University of Queensland tracking crocodile attacks found something stark. In nearly every documented attack, the human didn't see the crocodile before the strike. Attacks happened when people were in murky water, swimming at dusk, or crouched at the water's edge not looking at the water. In the rare cases where someone saw the crocodile and made eye contact before it attacked, the crocodile retreated. The same pattern shows up with big cats. Researchers in India started giving villagers masks to wear on the back of their heads. The masks had large eyes printed on them. The idea, make tigers think the human could see them even when facing away. It worked. Tiger attacks on people wearing the masks dropped dramatically. Why? Because ambush predators rely on not being seen. If you're looking at them, they've lost the critical advantage. You have time to react. To shout. To fight back. To run. A lone human can only look in one direction. You've got about 180 degrees of vision, which means there's a full 180 degrees behind you where a predator can approach completely unseen. Two humans. Even if they're not trying, they're facing slightly different directions. Three humans. You've got near 360-degree coverage. Someone's going to spot the predator before it gets close enough to strike. And the predator knows this. Not consciously, but instinctively. Millions of years of evolution taught predators that groups are aware in ways individuals aren't. And awareness means danger. But lone humans do get attacked. And when it happens, the pattern is disturbingly consistent. 2022, India. A man collecting firewood alone was killed by a tiger. He was separated from his village by less than half a mile. The attack came from behind. It was over in seconds. 2024, California. A hiker was killed by a mountain lion. She was alone on a trail, crouched down tying her shoe. The lion struck while she was low to the ground, vulnerable, isolated. 2020, Montana. A man was attacked by a grizzly while hiking alone. He survived by playing dead, but he was alone on that trail for 20 minutes before another hiker found him. The pattern: alone, distracted or vulnerable, often in low visibility. Compare that to group encounters. A group of hikers in British Columbia encountered a grizzly in 2015. The bear approached. The group did what you're supposed to do: clustered together, made themselves bigger, made noise, stood their ground. The bear left. There are almost no documented cases of healthy wild predators successfully attacking a group of adult humans who stayed together. It's so rare that when it happens, it makes international news. Meanwhile, the list of lone humans attacked is long and tragic. Park rangers, researchers, hikers, villagers. The common thread is always isolation. A 2017 study analyzing attacks across North America, Africa, and Asia found that over 90% of fatal predator attacks happened when the victim was alone or separated from a group. 90%. The predator isn't hunting humans specifically. It's hunting the isolated target. And when we're alone, we fit that profile perfectly. So why didn't predators evolve to take down human groups anyway? Why didn't they adapt to hunt us even when we're clustered? Because we didn't give them the chance. Humans have existed for about 300,000 years. For almost all of that time, we didn't live alone. We lived in groups. Not by choice, but by necessity. Early humans who went solo died. The ones who stayed together survived and reproduced. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherers found something universal: nobody goes anywhere alone. Not to gather food. Not to collect water. Not to hunt. Always at least one other person, usually more. The Hadza of Tanzania move in groups of 20 to 30. The San people of the Kalahari, same thing. Indigenous groups everywhere, before modern civilization, showed the same pattern. Constant group cohesion. Why? Because the ones who didn't stay together got eaten. This created evolutionary pressure on predators. For hundreds of thousands of years, predators that tried attacking human groups got hurt. Humans throw rocks. Humans use spears. Humans coordinate. A human group can drive off or kill a predator. So the predators that survived were the ones that learned to avoid human groups. Those cautious predators reproduced. Their offspring inherited that caution. Over thousands of generations, avoid human groups became hardwired instinct. We basically trained every major predator on the planet to leave groups alone. The predators that didn't learn, we hunted them to extinction or near extinction. The ones alive today are descendants of the cautious ones. There's a grim poetry to it. We shaped predator behavior through our survival strategy. And that strategy was simple: never be alone. Which brings us to the problem. For 299,000 years, being alone in predator territory meant you were probably about to die. So we didn't do it. But in the last couple hundred years, we got comfortable. We built cities. We pushed predators to the margins. We created this bubble of safety that makes us forget the calculation is still running in the predator's head. You hike alone because the trail is safe. You jog at dusk because it's convenient. You wade into the river by yourself because your friends are back at camp and it's just for a minute. And statistically, you'll probably be fine. Attacks are rare. But when they happen, you're operating under a false assumption that you're safe because you're human. You're not safe because you're human. You're safe because for most of your life, you've been near other humans. The moment you separate, the ancient equation kicks back in. You're not a human in the predator's calculation. You're isolated prey. And isolated prey gets hunted. Park rangers will tell you the same thing everywhere: don't hike alone. Don't camp alone. Don't swim alone. Not because they're paranoid, but because they've seen what happens when people ignore that advice. The wilderness doesn't care about your confidence. It runs on the same rules it's run on for millions of years. And one of those rules is simple: isolated prey gets taken. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. There are predators near you right now. Even in cities. Coyotes, mountain lions, bears. They're closer than most people realize. GPS tracking on mountain lions in California found they regularly move through suburban areas at night. They pass within yards of homes. They cross through parks where people jog during the day. They're there. You just don't see them. And they're not attacking because you're almost never alone in those environments. You're walking with a dog, or with a friend, or in a neighborhood where other humans are visible. The predator sees that group dynamic and moves on. But imagine this: you're walking your dog late at night. You're the only person visible. Your dog runs ahead, out of sight. For 30 seconds, you are alone on that street. A mountain lion is watching from someone's backyard. In that moment, you are closer to being hunted than you've probably ever been. The only thing stopping the attack is the predator's calculation: too close to houses, too much chance another human appears, not worth the risk. The predator moves on. You never know it was there. So yeah. Predators attack lone humans but fear groups. Not because groups are stronger. Not because groups have weapons. But because groups break the predator's entire hunting strategy. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be armed. You just have to not be alone. 2 humans are exponentially safer than 1. 3 are almost untouchable. 4 or more. You're invisible to predators as prey. You survived as a species because you figured out 300,000 years ago that staying together works. Groups are aware. Groups are unpredictable. Groups are dangerous in ways a lone animal never is. Lions don't hunt prides. Wolves don't hunt packs. And predators don't attack human groups. So if you're ever in the wilderness, stay together. Don't wander off. Don't assume the trail is empty just because you don't see anything. Because the thing you don't see is running the same calculation predators have run for millions of years. Is this target alone? Can I approach unseen? Is it worth the risk? If you're alone, those answers might line up wrong. But if you're with even one other person, the math changes. And the predator walks away. Your ancestors knew this. They lived it every day. They stayed together because the ones who didn't became cautionary tales. We've forgotten that lesson because we got comfortable. But step outside the bubble, into spaces where wild things live by wild rules, and the equation comes back instantly. Stay together. Watch each other's backs. Make noise. Be visible. Because predators aren't looking for humans. They're looking for prey. And prey is defined by one thing: isolation. Don't be isolated. Don't be prey. You're human. You figured this out 300,000 years ago. Act like it.